So Iris, the vineyard, was started planting in 1996. So our vines are, how old does that make our vines?
1996. Right around there.
And we do have some younger plantings, but most of our vineyard is the older plantings. And I think that the old vine mythology you often hear about is true. in experiencing both the older and younger plantings at our vineyard. Yeah, so like much of the Willamette Valley Iris vineyard is dry farm. And I think there's a lot of value in that, but it's also a matter of whether you can or not. Some of the drier areas, viticultural areas of the world, they don't have that option. We do. I feel lucky about that. And we have relatively deep soils and a lot of rain in the winter. Our summers are dry, but the soils hold plenty of water for the vines to thrive in our environment. So it works out. Yeah, typical Willamette Valley vineyard is anywhere from say 300 feet to 800 or 900. So our vineyard, the lowest part of our vineyard is about 850 feet, and the highest part about 1150. So that contributes to the extra coolness of our vineyard site that allows us to, I think, make really exceptional Pinot Gris and allows us to have a really good sparkling wine program. So much of the Willamette Valley is influenced by coastal breezes, especially in the afternoon. I know a lot of people talk about the Van Duzer corridor and maybe get the idea that the rest of the valley doesn't have that influence. I think it's greater in Van Duzer, but at our site and much of the rest of the valley, there is significant coastal breeze influence in the afternoons. There are some exceptions to that. I think portions of the McMinnville AVA don't get those breezes. The new Lower Long Tom AVA near us is sheltered from that, so they're a little bit warmer. Some people call that area the banana belt of the Willamette Valley. So yeah, I think my first kind of exposure to the passion of the wine industry occurred while I was in college. I worked with some professors and grad students who were excited about the Oregon wine industry and were doing some projects related to that, and whether it was in soils or horticulture. And my father was always passionate about wine. He went to grad school at UC Berkeley, and he and my mom would travel to Napa and Sonoma on the weekends, and this is in the 1960s, to visit the wineries and taste the wines. And that was, I think, one of his most favorite things to do. And so, yeah, when I was in the Peace Corps in Guatemala for 3 years after college, and when I returned to Oregon, my dad helped me get a job at Amity Vineyards. It was my first job in the wine industry, and his home was very near where Amity is, and so he would go over there and taste, and he knew the owner, and so that was a foot in the door for me, for sure. So, school and my dad. I've always been and always will be passionate about bubbles, I think. That our Arete program is important. And I love making this wine and blending this wine that I have here in my hands. And we have a lot of small production wines that are for our tasting room and club. And so you don't get to taste those unless you come to Oregon. And those oftentimes, if not most of the time, are wines that I have more liberty to choose the grapes and the varietals and kind of make what I want and feel passionate about. So, yeah, those are some fun ones.